Not too long ago, I posted a short describing the teams that I was considering for franchise mode this year in MLB the Show 26. Now, I'm sorry that the series is going to start so late, but the game hasn't exactly cooperated with me so far this cycle, with numerous crashes like this one, and you've seen that if you've watched some of these previous videos. However, we are back for a franchise series, and my choices were ultimately down to the White Sox, Angels, and Giants. Why? Well, my friend Octi's doing a Pirates franchise. Make sure you go check that out if you haven't already. My friend GG9 and my inspiration Mr. Hurricane have the Twins on lockdown. My boy, State of the Franchise, has the Cardinals running, and my friend T-Clink Gaming is doing his hometown Guardians. But I was really interested in the Rays, but just Mr. Love has them on lock as well. So it came down to those three teams, and there were some interesting comments. A lot like this one, wanting the Angels, but a few like this one, saying no one cares about the Angels. So we're gonna do something a bit different this year. I hope you'll be along for the ride. Let's introduce the MLB The Show 26 franchise series on the channel, shall we? The Los Angeles Angels are bad, and they're on the fringe of wasting the Hall of Fame career of Mike Trout. Owner Artie Moreno has flirted with the ideal of selling the team multiple times over the past decade. The farm system is mediocre, the defense stinks, the pitching is bad, and the team is full of overpriced power-hitting strikeout kings. Some say it's time to gut the team, tear it down, rebuild it, they say. Well, stay tuned. We begin our story with Artie Moreno putting the team up for sale yet again. Players began to get frustrated with the constant rumors, and many of them wanted out. Logan O'Hoppe, Josh Lowe, and Yusei Kikuchi were shipped over to Tampa Bay, bringing in Xavier Isaac, their hot first baseman prospect. Zach Neto, Joe Adell, and Kirby Yates went to the rival Mariners, with big pieces coming in return in Cade Anderson and Lazaro Montez, two more hot prospects. Why so many prospect moves? Well, because they just want their opportunity and they don't care where they get it. When the deadline rolled around, the Angels were 50-57, and even Mike Trout, one of the quietest, calmest superstars ever, couldn't take it anymore. And he, along with Jose Soriano and Christian Moore, were sent to Philadelphia for one prospect, Francisco Renteria. But the fire sale wasn't over yet. The Angels sent Ben Joyce and Drew Pomeranz to the Yankees for Jason Dominguez. Then, they shipped Grayson Rodriguez and Gustavo Campero to the Mets for, well, mainly Ryan Clifford. What folks don't know is that Moreno already had a selling partner that he was working to cut costs before selling the team. Greedy much? But that selling partner had already hired an entire front office and drafting department, and the draft was quite nice. In the first round, the Angels selected 19-year-old starter Yusniel Valentin, who needs some work, but scouts do believe he'll get to the bigs in a couple years. Then it was left fielder Benito Velasquez, who doesn't have much of a bat, but is a terrific fielder with wonderful potential, even at 22 years old. Third rounder Chris Staples is a starting pitcher with good stamina who pitches far better to righties than lefties, but has a nice 5-pitch mix and elite potential. In the fourth round, third baseman Luis Lantigua was selected, and he has got some solid potential, but he's definitely going to need a ton of time in the minors, as he is extremely raw. In the fifth round, catcher Irvin Lane is also extremely raw at the plate, but he's definitely a solid defensive option who needs more time in the minor leagues. And in the sixth round, they took an absolute flyer on reliever Brian Hill, who pitches well against lefties but only has a 3-pitch mix and projects to be a potential career minor leaguer. Overall, it was a solid draft for the future, and the Angels finished 65-97 on the season, and the Yankees defeated the Pirates in the World Series. After the season, the sale became official, and Abruzzo Sky took over the team. Abruzzo was named after Ben Abruzzo, who was a famous hot air balloonist from Albuquerque, New Mexico, which just so happens to be the same city Abruzzo Sky hails from. But he he agreed with Bear Island TV here. He also believed nobody cared about the Angels. But why would he buy them? He bought them to take them home. Enter the Albuquerque Scorpions, a fresh new team with fresh new colors and a whole new identity out of the shadow of the LA Dodgers. Sky was hoping this would also give the team a chance to garner a new reputation and not of a team that ruins careers or overspends on underperforming players. Hey there, Anthony Rendon. The Scorpions entered the lottery with the 5th highest chance at the top overall pick and got lucky enough to move to 3rd overall, but not as lucky as the Brewers, who moved up 6 spots to snag the top pick. The Rule 5 draft was very important for the Scorpions. They needed talent anywhere they could get it. Daniel Susac, Jake Irvin, Alec Marsh, Orlando Arcia, Thomas Naito, Yariel Rodriguez, Scott Efros, Bowden Francis, and Brock Burke all ended up joining the Scorpions as Rule 5 picks. Free agency was very light spenders on Griffin Canning, Kenley Jansen, and Max Schumann all joined on 2-year deals. Spring training, however, that was a nightmare. It was quite obvious after a 10-21 spring at the bottom of the Cactus League that getting wins with this team was going to be tough. But the opening day roster was set. Who made the team? At catcher against righties will be Thomas Naito in the 6 hole. It's where he's best, and he's a good defender. He hit .343 and only 35 at-bats in 2025, but in significant playing time years, he's only bat above his weight twice, and that was for the Mets in 21 and 22. Against lefties, it will be Daniel Susac, a former top 5 athletics prospect. He played well in the 16 games the Giants gave him a chance to play last year, hitting .291. He has a very even-killed skill set that should get him the full-time job if Naito struggles. Full-time first baseman Nolan Shanuel is the lone angel and team captain. He had a conversation with the Bruzo before the purchase of the team, and the two hit it off. When the sale happened, Nolan committed himself to being the leader of the franchise. He's been on the rise, and as new Scorpion fans, we can only hope that that continues. Vaughn Grissom is the full-time second baseman, and while he's better against lefties than righties, there's no one better that we have to play the spot. Not much of a fielder, but he gives the needed addition at the plate. Don't let that Angels jersey and his card fool you. This is no homegrown Angel. The full-time third baseman is new signing Max Schumann, who is a great fielder with good speed and a good arm, but he can't hit. He needs to develop his skills at this plate to stick with this team past his 2 seasons. The full-time shortstop is Rule 5 pick Orlando Arcia, another guy with really good defense and a decent arm, but he can actually hit a little. More power against righties, more contact against lefties, but he can't run. A totally average player, but at 32 years old, he can provide some locker room leadership. The full-time left fielder is Rob Refsnyder. Picked up in free agency before spring, he hit a career high in homers this past season for the Mariners, and comes over with some of the best power we even have on this roster, but he can't field really well. Just has a strong arm. At 35, he's one of the old men here. Center field is split between Jason Dominguez playing against righties with his great arm and good speed but horrid fielding. It's the bat that we need, though, while also trying to grow a potential young star at just 24 years old. Against lefties, Jose Siri gets the nod. He's got an elite arm and okay speed, but he's probably the best fielder at any position on the roster. The downside? He can't hit. But when he does, it could go far. A career .203 hitter who weighs 210. That's not great. Right field is also split. Against righties, it'll be Nolan Jones, who is no longer the franchise underdog that he once was, but still a solid choice with an elite arm despite poor speed and fielding. But again, we need the bat, even if it's mediocre. Against lefties, it's Nick Castellanos, who I'm aware shouldn't really be playing the field at all, but the Scorpions have no complete players here. His bat is much needed in the lineup, as well as his experience and locker room presence as the other old man. Castellanos will also DH against righties, while against lefties, the DH will be Kyron Paris. The team wanted to give Paris, once a top 5 prospect in the organization, a shot to prove himself one last time, and there's no better chance for him than against lefties. The only player on the roster the team couldn't find a spot for in this lineup is Oswald Peraza, who has the worst bat on the roster. But he's a solid defender with great speed who could see himself put in games in defensive sub situations or pinch running even. As for the rotation and bullpen, Griffin Canning will take the ball on opening day. The former number 2 Angels prospect is back with the team after a couple of seasons of sub-4 ERA. A mediocre bottom rotation starter for most teams is this team's opening day starter. At least he has an elite slider. Rule 5 pick Alec Marsh is up next, and he throws all of his pitches with the same skill, but he's never posted lower than a 4.53 ERA, so we'll see if he takes a step up. Reed Detmers was convinced by Nolan Schanuel to stay with the club and not request a trade. He's due to enter free agency after 2028, so he's putting the organization on watch. He had a good 2025 from the pen, but a mediocre 2026 starting. We'll see if he can put it all together though, as he has 3 elite pitches of his 4. Definitely the most skilled pitcher on the roster, but being the only lefty, he's in the middle of the rotation. Lucas Giolito was just sitting in spring free agency, and he hasn't pitched since 2025 with Boston, but he's being given a chance to show his stuff again, and maybe the Scorpions catch a little lightning in the bottle. Jake Irvin, the Rule 5 pick, will be the 5th starter. He's got a sweet 5-pitch mix, and fans are hoping that with him, this rotation can at least be consistent night in and night out, if nothing else. In the bullpen, Bowden Francis is going to spot start and be the long relief guy, as I'm sure there's going to be plenty of time for him to play. Depending on whoever is starting, they could get shelled early with this kind of rotation, and he's the guy that the team will go to. Chase Silseth is a long reliever as well, with a very elite sweeper. Brock Burke is a Rule 5 pick, also in the long relief stable, with a good sinker and a good 4-seamer. Yariel Rodriguez, the Rule 5 pick, has a great sinker and elite splitter that he doesn't use much, but the Scorpions will be coaching him otherwise. Also from the Rule 5 is Scott Efros. He's got great break on his pitches and is one of the best pitchers in the pen stuff-wise. Nick Sandlin is likely going to end up being the de facto second setup man / 7th inning guy, should the team be in any games like that this year where you would need him. He's a great pitcher for pressure spots, and I believe a good thing that his pitches are all thrown with the same confidence. Yimi Garcia will be the setup man, and his curveball is nasty, and he's got a great sinker. He's very clutch too, and he has the best stuff maybe on the team. Even better than the closer, Kenley Jansen. But Jansen's slider and cutter break is unbeatable, and he doesn't allow many hits to righties, so hopefully he has some chances to secure some wins for the team this season. The team is in rough shape, and may not win many games or make a playoff push for a while, but Abruzzo Sky knows this challenge. Abruzzo is an Albuquerque native and wants nothing more than to bring the city, and state of New Mexico for that matter, a championship. He's had a new stadium built years ago for this moment, but he's going to need to pay off the loan that he took out on it, so don't expect much trading or big free agents for a long time. However, in order to unveil the stadium, home fans are going to have to wait until April 2nd, 2027. Against the Texas Rangers, as the Scorpions will play the Rays and Nationals on the road to begin the season. Griffin Canning facing off against Drew Rasmussen on opening day. Welcome to the Albuquerque Scorpions franchise on MLB the Show 26.